I almost feel like drop the beat. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Hello and welcome to Columbus Local Podcast. I'm Len D'Amico, and this is episode number 113. And this evening, we have the great pleasure to have Sarah Nicole.
Woo.
Sarah Nicole?
Hello.
How are you?
I'm great.
Drummer,
Yes, sir.
percussionist.
Yes.
Anything else along those lines?
I do. I play guitar.
You play guitar.
I play piano.
You play piano.
I play oboe
Really?
and trumpet.
That's cool too.
But the last two, much less.
But you're not. That's not a big time
No.
spender.
Once
for you.
upon a time, I thought I was going to be a music teacher. And so I
So you
just
picked up on stuff.
learned anything I could learn.
That's really cool. Well, have you? What have you done on oboe lately?
Oh, nothing, because I don't have one.
I'm just curious. Sorry about that,
It's
Sarah
not-
Nicole.
It's not one of the random instruments that I own.
No, but you're on the kit, right? You're
Yes.
you're a percussionist
Yes.
extraordinaire.
No.
You know, we see you out, Sarah, and you're very humble, very you're laid back like I am. You got that vibe. And you and I have performed
We have.
live together.
We have.
I've always felt so honored
Well, thank you.
to have
pleasure is
that.
mine.
No, I think it's both of ours. But the groove's fun, and
Yes.
I'm a rookie. Can you tell that I'm a rookie?
No, you're not a rookie. It's just like, I don't know, somebody who's painted with oil pastels, and now they're switching to watercolor. It's just,
I still have the vibe, right?
yeah.
That's all that matters is
Yeah.
the groove.
You know what you're doing.
It's the groove.
Yeah, it's
And
just
the more-
it's less strings even.
Yeah, but and I will say this, and then we'll move on to you again. But this was about us, right? So the Beatles tune, Come Together,
Mm-hmm.
with the Ringo.
One of my favorites to play.
Yeah, and you do it like nobody else.
Thanks.
And you schooled me on how to do it with you.
No.
You did, because you do a long Ringo fill.
Well, yeah.
But that's the vibe that you
Yeah.
have, right? So so you taught me two things: adapt to the vibe of the drummer, right? Because it's going to be different depending on the person. And that's the beauty that I have been working with Gabrielle, is I've had opportunities to work with so many different people, on percussion and on guitar too, which has been great. But, as far as that song though, you showed me, because you actually said to me, "Are you going to wait for me to finish this fill?" I was like, "Yes, ma'am, I am." It's the first time I heard you do it, though. You got to give me a little, what do you call, leeway.
Well, I mean, and it's so funny you say that,
learned
because I usually get told that I underplay, because I'm just like a sit in the back and just try to
And I dig that
highlight
about
the
your
singer,
play.
highlight the guitarist,
Yep.
and I just try to lay in the background. But that song, it's so it's
Ringo.
important. It needs to be there.
It's Ringo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's I like yours. I like everybody's
Thanks.
part there, but yours is a unique distance in the measure, and I appreciated the fact that I got a lesson there on adapting, regardless, and we found the vibe, though. That was the important thing. We found the groove that was based off of your vibe of that tune. It was awesome.
Well, thanks.
It was cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I enjoy playing with Soul Revival too. It's
Oh God,
Gabrielle.
Come
on.
I know. It's so much fun. But it's the material that I
Oh,
just
yeah.
really love.
I mean, it's feel good soul music. That's what
Yep.
I always tell my
all
friends.
about
You
it.
got to come see her, because you leave feeling good.
Yeah, and lately I've been throwing some, because I feel the vibe, right, and the groove, and so I just keep, on when I'm practicing on my own and doing stuff, I'll veer off and other songs and whatnot, and So I'm like, oh, what about this song? What about this song? What about this song? And like, I have to, and I'm not trying to push anything. It's just funny that they're like, well, yeah, but you go back to the original thing. It's like, it might be a good groove, but is it right for the project? That's not for me to say, but I just like the vibe of some of these songs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I'll throw them out there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I feel like being overzealous is a good thing. It's a good problem to have, that you love it so much that you want more of it. I think that's a good problem to have.
Yeah. But there's a lot going on there. And there's a lot of songs too that they have to come from the vocalist.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's setting the tone.
Oh God. Well, it's her.
And
First of all, it's her band. But second of all, in my opinion, every band should just get used to the fact that the wheelhouse of the presentation here is whatever whoever's fronting this material it's their best.
Yeah.
It's their best emotional package of work that they can share with everyone.
They've got to sell it.
And if you don't like the song, maybe you should examine which project you're in. Because that's where creative differences come into play.
Absolutely.
But you're in this band for the vocalist, because that's what's out front.
Yeah.
And the guitar player might think that they're there for them too, but no. You got to be good. You got to match the skill. You got to match you got to complement. What's happening vocally, but at the same time, it's all about the vocalist. It really is.
But it's Gabrielle, so it's about her anyway.
And in that case, the whole thing's about Gabrielle. No doubt about it. There's never a question about that at all. But she's very open-minded, and she accepts a lot of input too. From everyone. So
that's great.
It is, but everybody has the same mindset too. There. It's good stuff.
That's how you have a good thing going.
Yeah, and we're only going to get stronger now that we're starting to kind of stride into this year. She's got, I think, there's a dozen more shows. We'll probably pick up a couple more. Sure.
Oh yeah, so I'm subbing with you guys again. I think I have 2 more shows with you guys, and she said, "Don't hate me," but I added a couple songs. I said, "Why would I hate you for growing? That's what you're supposed to do."
That's cool. And and that's the other thing about her too, is she's it's not just about her, right? It's about what's happening with the music there. It's awesome project. I'm so great. I'll be forever grateful.
Her ears are probably burning so hard right now.
Probably. So enough about, but you, Sarah, Nicole, you're in a really killer band right now.
I am. Yeah.
Tell us about it.
The Corrupted Hearts. I feel like sometimes I hit the lottery, because Bradley he's the lead vocalist, and he plays guitar, and he has a jazz guitar background, but he likes rock music, and those two things, the way they come together, it's just beautiful. And then you have Adam on, I guess he'd be lead guitar for the band, but he's writing these solos, and he loves 90s grunge. And then you have Jeff on bass. Jeff is always there. He jokes and he says, "That's all you can say about me is you're always there." I'm like, "No, dude. It's like my left hand. Like I don't even notice that you're there because you're exactly where I want you to be." Wow. It's almost like we're part of the same thing. It's beautiful. And then so they had music from before me, and I liked it, but I honestly was intimidated by it. I thought, I don't know if I can do that justice. It's so good. And so we had kind of a misconnection, because at the time I was like, I don't have the time to devote to a project right now and learn this music, which is really good, but it's not just straight 4/4 time. Some of this stuff we have 6/8 that changes into a different feel, and then there's some weird fills that are come on,
and then that
3
click track.
Yeah, and then, playing to a click. We play to a click because we have sound effects and stuff in the background all the time, and so it just didn't work out before. And then I ran into him at an open mic. I ran into Bradley, and Adam was there too, and I didn't even know who Adam was at the time. And we got to talking, and I was like, the timing is right this time. So here I am, and I feel like it's a dream, because I enjoyed the music before, and now I get to be a part of making the future of
and
it.
This is original music, based out of Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
Corrupted Hearts. Is there? And I don't mean this from an insulting perspective or from a, I mean it more of an inquisitive nature. Is there a genre that you could describe?
Yeah, alternative rock, grunge, but then at the same time, so Bradley, with his jazz background, he likes to explore jazz and throw in a little bit of blues. And we did this song recently called Space Traveler, which it actually has this like big band feel. It's very like, there's saxophone in it. It's very like mellow 20s, Billie Holiday smoke, in the room. You just get this vibe of like a noir, but then we come in with this hard rock beat in the middle of it, and then we go right back into this jazzy sort of like, it's called But I Can't Stop Loving on You, Babe, like that. And you just go right back into, like, it's beautiful. And the way that they're able to make that come together, and then I just get to be a part of it, is amazing.
Very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen videos. I haven't seen you guys live, but it really captures mood, in regard to the delivery. You guys have and there's a wide range of mood, I think, that I pick up on as you're performing some of these songs.
Thanks. That's, yeah. We just played at Woodlands Tavern on the 17th.
What a mood enhancing venue that is, right?
Oh,
very
my gosh,
cozy.
yeah. And then we opened for this Disciple of the Garden. They're a Chris Cornell tribute band out of Brooklyn. And so the vibe in there was 90s, and that's right up Adam's alley. So what we did for this particular show is we actually did all covers that were all sort of fitting the night. And then we did one original song that hasn't been released yet, and it was just sort of a sneak preview for anybody who was there. They could hear it before everybody else.
It's so sweet.
That's what I love about our band, is that it's like we can pull, if we were playing in a jazz club, we would actually be able to kind of pull some of those, or we could do a stripped down acoustic version of them, and they sound jazzy in their roots because the root chords are jazz chords. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But then we can go and we can open up for Screamo Band, and we can pull out Weekend Priestess or Defect Girl, which have a very kind of Korn meets Deftones feel to them, and it just rocks all the time.
Sounds fun. Are you having fun?
So much fun, yeah.
And how long have you been engaged with these guys?
My first show with them was October 26th. I remember the date. It was at the King of Clubs.
Last year?
Yeah, this
2024.
Past year. 2024.
October 24. And how many shows have you done?
Maybe five-ish, five or six.
That's awesome.
We are trying to not play out as much, so that when we do play out, it's like we have a show prepared, It's not like the thing you can see every weekend. It's trying to be a little more special. It's that treat that you give yourself,
You're allowed to do that.
Yeah. And then we can spend more time in the studio. We meet every Wednesday and write songs, and we come up with stuff. And this past week, Katie Thompson came over. She lives nearby. She came over, and we're turning bass drums on their side, and we're hitting them with, random mallets that I find laying around just to try to get the right tone. And we're putting microphones inside or on the outside, and just trying to get this like canon sound. And I can't tell you too much more because it hasn't been released yet, but it's a good story.
That's cool. Who's writing in this band?
Usually Bradley. I have sent some lyrics, but most of the time when Bradley comes up with a song, he's already got, the idea of what it's going to be like. And then we can hardly keep up with him because he's got so many ideas. Like every week
that's so cool.
2 or 3 songs that are just killer.
Man.
But we all kind of have input in that respect, that sometimes he'll come up with something. He'll say, I haven't quite gotten the lyrics for it yet. Got any ideas, It's very collaborative, and I love it.
Have you brought material into this band, Corrupted Hearts?
Yeah. So far, I don't think anything that was super useful.
That's okay, right?
No. So a lot of times, and I just had Bradley. I said, here's what we're going to do. From now on, you're going to send me your scratch track and do not put drums on it. Because, like, that way I can kind of make up what I want to make up. Because he just writes, he's just, like, he's a savant. He's just a genius. And he's like, oh, well, I already wrote it for you. Don't worry. But it's so spot on every time. It's like, well, I wouldn't change a thing, man. Like, it's perfect. It's wonderful. And I just get to be a part of it. It's great.
Well, you say just be a part of it, right? Like that's a big part of it.
Yeah, I mean, we're remastering. So we've released singles every 6 weeks or so since I've been in the band, and then a lot of them we're going to compile now. We've remastered them, and we're going to have an album released hopefully in August.
Oh, that's really cool. Will you have a release at a venue?
Maybe.
And where are you guys typically playing?
So we were at Woodlands Tavern, like I said. Yep. We played Space Bar. I think I've been there twice now.
I love Space Bar.
Yeah.
The history of that.
We played with Atessa. Played with Bade. Bade, they're really good friends with Bradley, so they come over to the studio sometimes, and we've done collaborations with Dead Cell, who we also played with at Space Bar. The King of Clubs. I think that's a spot that we've been at. That's the first show that I played with them was there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's a really that's a cool venue. It's cool, large platform, obviously.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty amazing.
It was really good sound there too. It was
yeah.
We had a good experience.
Yep. Absolutely.
Everybody's really helpful. Nice.
The songs that you write, Sarah, for yourself.
Yeah.
What are they like?
Oh, I don't take myself too seriously as a songwriter.
Really?
That's why a lot of my lyrics don't make it to the Corrupted Hearts, because I write songs that probably...
I mean, if it's too personal, we don't have to...
No.
Okay.
No, I have the Cheese song. I think that's everybody knows the Cheese song.
Your song?
It's called the Cheese song, yeah.
Are you going to sing it?
No, I'm not going to sing it.
Well, can you just give us an acapella?
So
is it okay?
It's all about cheese. That's it.
That's okay.
It's in all the world you'll never find a food so versatile and fine, a dairy delight that's sure to please them all. It's creamy and it's delicious, and for the most part it's nutritious. Sit right down, I'll tell you how to cheese them all. And it's just about cheese. It's Munster Gouda and Havarti, mozzarella nice and hearty, pieces that are square and that are round, cheddar, Swiss, and Parmigiano, blue cheese, goat cheese, and Romano. Let's eat cheese wherever it is found.
Love it.
So I don't take myself too seriously. It's like a hoedown.
Shout out to Emma Cronenweth.
She like cheese?
The Cheese song. And to her mom, Beth.
Yes.
Of Megabeth. Elizabeth Newsom Cronenweth.
So who doesn't like cheese? And so
they love cheese.
You go out to a venue and maybe, you don't know the vibe, you don't know the people, or maybe it's a little tense in the room. So you bust out the Cheese song, and it usually does not miss, because everybody kind of stops what they're doing and they're like, is this girl really singing about cheese?
Yep.
I sure am. And you know what? Then they're like,
shit.
I love cheese too. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
let's have a drink to that.
Yeah, man. Party up.
Yeah. Plus it helps me get out the nerves a little bit, because you can't take yourself too seriously when you're singing a song like that. And
No.
it just, after that, I'm all warmed up and I feel good.
And you're coming out of your chair with delight.
Yeah.
As a result.
I mean, I love cheese.
There you have it. Has it been trademarked, recorded, anything?
I have it on TikTok. I have it on like Instagram and stuff. I have never
That's your song.
I've never gone the route of releasing it on Spotify or
Is
anything.
it on TikTok, really? It's
It
a
is
TikTok
on-
release?
yeah.
When was it written?
Well, so it was during COVID, because
Oh my God, 5 years ago.
I don't think it was in the heat of COVID, not the peak, but shortly. It was like in the year after, so like 2021, I want to say. It was. So I work in healthcare, so it was still affecting us. And I remember I had all these feelings, and I was like, I'm trying to write a song, and I was at my desk. My friend says, you got this look on your face. You're very pensive. What's going on? I said, I'm just trying to narrow down what I want to write a song about. I know that I can rhyme things, but I want it to be meaningful. And she said, well, just write a song about cheese. And so I jokingly did. I wrote this, and it was more just I just wanted to jokingly give it back to her and say, see, I wrote you the song. But then I kind of liked it, and I thought, I'll put a guitar part to this, and now it's a real song.
It's adorable.
Thanks. That's all I have in life.
I want to record it.
Oh my gosh. I have it. It's on TikTok and all that. You can.
All right. You'll have to send me a link.
I'll send it.
We're going to send a link in your description. It'll be on Spotify and Apple and YouTube, all that stuff.
Craft
all these
and
podcasting
Sargento,
platforms, man.
If you're listening, you can buy it from me real cheap.
That's my point, man. Get some exposure.
Well, I write silly songs. I have a song.
If you send me the video, I can actually attach it to the episode as a little, like a snippet.
Well, I'll do that, but
it's up to you.
I mean, it's cheesy.
It might be helpful.
I thought just the irony of having a really cheesy song that's about cheese. That's where.
Bravo.
Yeah, thanks.
Bravo.
I'm working on a song right now. It's called Bad Time, and it's about catching your partner cheating, and then you find out about it and just confront them. Kind of at the restaurant, like, oh, is this a bad time?
Damn it.
Right now, were you doing something?
Damn it.
Because that would just be, sometimes you need that satisfaction.
Those times, though, you need the satisfaction.
If I know that my partner's cheating on me, I'm going to wait until I can catch them in the act so that everybody knows, don't mess with me, I'm petty.
I don't think that's petty. That's the rules you live by. You're allowed to have that.
So most of the songs I write are
they're
on a lighter note. I have some that are really dark, and then those I'm just like, no, nobody needs to hear this. It's like, Creep by Radiohead. It's like you just hear it and you go into a dark place, and maybe I don't want to bring that into the world.
Oh my God. I love to play that bass line.
I bet you do.
I like to play guitar in that too, but I mean the bass line is where it's at. I'm finding that the bass line is where it's at for most songs.
Notice how you drop your voice when you start talking about the bass line.
I can't tell you how much I love to play the bass. I love to play the bass.
I know. The other night,
I play bass every day for at least 3 hours.
That's all you.
Sometimes
I love
more.
It though. I saw you the other night, and you're like, I can't stop talking about bass. I love the bass. I want to play the bass.
I'm obsessed.
You're obsessed.
But you know what it is? Having played guitar for so long, and I'm not no big guitar player by any stretch, but I enjoyed being out there. I did, and I was on the Fringe, and it was a blast, and I played with the best people, and we had a lot of great gigs, and that was what it was all about, having fun, and it still is for me, having fun. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Even in my crippled ass self, where I can't move my pinky. I have issues, man. Anyway, my point is this.
You don't need a pinky to play bass. Is that your point?
Well,
less pinky. There you go. Jot it down.
Mobility's not a good thing for me. What was my? Now see, that's the other problem being old. What were we talking about?
I think you were talking about the pregame.
Oh no, not the pregame.
It's time to refill your cocktail.
Jack and Diet tonight.
Yeah.
Not too crazy. No, Sarah, what were we talking about?
We were talking about your pinky and the bass line.
No, before that.
How much you love the bass.
Oh, I do. Yeah, that's true. So for you, back to Sarah, Nicole. This is fun, Sarah.
I love this side of Len. I love it.
Well, here's the thing, though, man. This is what it was. Playing bass, it's all about the drummer.
Oh.
Period.
I mean, it's always all about the drummer.
Period, though, but so much more. Like I'm always driven off. I was always when I play guitar, I'm driven off the bass line, man. Mm-hmm. But I didn't realize how in tune the drummer is for playing bass. It's the same. So like when performing with you, for example, like learning the nuances between covering a same song differently based off different people.
Yeah.
You know, you can say that about guitar, you can say about the vocals, you can say about the probably bass line, but I just, you know, I enjoy the dance. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about this before. Like for you, there's a really good there's a fun dance.
Well, thanks. I like dancing with you too.
and that's my point. It's fun. It's and that's where the groove comes from, I think. Mm-hmm. You know, if you're able to develop that, you know, between players. So
once upon a time, someone told me, you will be so grateful someday that you got to play with this guy. So I used to play with this bassist, Travis Farrell.
It's kind of where I was going.
Oh, yeah? Okay, well, you're welcome.
Thank you for going there.
So, all right, so back in the day, so I'm not originally from Columbus. So I grew up in Mansfield, and it hurts to say that. But I got out with a few scars.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just
no, seriously.
But the thing about Mansfield is there's
Detroit, the 60s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so did my dad.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
Motown. So the thing about Mansfield is there are some really, really talented people in Mansfield. Mm-hmm. I mean, the music, like the Ohio Express and the Mansfield Explosion, those were both bands from Mansfield that charted back in like the 60s. So it used to be really poppin', and a lot of them are still out there and playing. And I can't even tell you, the talent is insane. But so there's this, I was in this band called the Getaway Band, and our bassist at the time was Travis Farrell, who is single-handedly, no offense to present company, the greatest bassist I've ever met. The guy will just play Tchaikovsky on the bass as if it's nothing.
And there's a couple of those dudes in this town.
It's insane.
Yeah.
The groove that he has, there's nothing else like it. And so I was 19 years old at the time, though, and I had no frame of reference. I had never played with anybody less than that quality. So I would have people all the time, drummers would come up to me and say, you have no idea how lucky you are. And I didn't. I had no idea. And then later I played with a lot of other people, and I went, oh
my God.
I understand now.
Yeah.
Like, he was a 10. Like, it doesn't get better. And he was just amazing. I forget where I was going with that now.
The dance.
Oh, just the dance back and forth.
Yeah.
And
so that's my question was, you know, how does the dance vary for you? Is that a thing for you?
Oh,
it is
absolutely.
For me.
Yeah.
But I'm a feel person and a feel player for sure.
Well, that's where double bass comes in, right? So you asked me if I always played metal, and I don't. I actually don't play metal really at all. It is something I like to play with. You strike me as a
metal drummer, and you know I've been touting you as a metal drummer, and I'm false. It's a falsehood.
I think that it's Columbus.
Gabrielle, I think I said, you know, Gabrielle, she's really kind of like fundamentally a metal drummer, and I love that about Sarah.
I have a weird foot technique.
Then that's what it is.
I wish I could patent it. I don't know how it happened. So, well, I guess I do know how it happened. When I was a kid.
Oh, the lights are blinking. The phone. It's all the metal guys that I know that are like, dude, you don't know what you're talking. And I really don't know what I'm talking about.
No,
but I feel metal with you. Go ahead.
I play a lot more double bass nowadays than I used to. Because a long time ago, when I got a double bass pedal, I asked a drummer friend of mine, how do you play this second pedal? And what he told me was, you've learned how to use your left foot on both pedals. And I took that literally, and I went home and I started practicing with my toe on the hi-hat and my heel on the bass pedal, so I can work them both at the same time. So there's a lot of grooves where I'll throw in, I use my feet like I use my hands. I use my right and my left foot equally. While I'm controlling the hi-hat too. So it's easier for me to throw in like a dig-a-dump, 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 because I have 2 feet rather than just one.
Right. So you have 4 feet.
No, but I can play all of, well, not everything. I'm working on it. But I do rudiments with my feet to practice the same way that I train my hands.
You're a fabulous percussionist, Sarah.
Thanks.
Like, I'm not worthy.
No, that's not true. It's
true.
Silly. Honestly,
for me to perform with you it's a
I'm
delight.
A nerd, is what that is. I'm just a nerd that I was classically trained once upon a time with my hands. I did snare solos and I did competitions and stuff. So I was a Class A percussionist with my hands, and then I picked up drum set. And I really wanted my feet to match because that's what somebody once told me. He's like, dude, if you want to be a full drummer on a set, your feet have to match your hands. You have to be able to do with your feet what you can do with your hands. So that's still where I'm striving. And I would say, honestly, it's my weak part. And that's why so many people know it, because it's the one I practice the most, which is why I think you see it the most.
It could be.
It's funny that people say I'm the opposite of metal.
All I know is the material you do with Soul Revival is a delight.
Now, there was that one time, so at the end of Bobby McGee, when I played with you guys last time, I threw in these 16th note bass drum runs just for fun.
And?
Because I know that Soul Revival is the place where I can do that.
And how did it go?
It was great. I loved it.
Was I there?
You were there. Bobby McGee with the...
I probably just fell back. Didn't try to keep up with that.
But that's the groove.
Like. Some of the things with fingers. I'm working on technique, and I just had somebody made some remarks on Facebook recently too about this. But paralysis affects my limits my fanciness. How's that? Mm-hmm. So I'm probably a little more laid back on that. But for you now, doggone it, man.
Well, back in the day, see, that was the goal for me.
You're rifling that.
That was my goal once upon a time. And so now it's like I revel in being there, that I can do it. It sounds
how many beats
like
per minute? What's the fastest you think you're able to sustain?
I think so. I have a video. I have a video online from Hall of the Mountain King. I'm trying to think how that goes. It's like a Christmas carol, I think, from the Nutcracker. But somebody redid a double bass version of it, like a metal version. And you actually are doing doubles on each pedal through the whole thing. And I do have that video posted. I don't know what the BPM on it is, but I was playing
it's up there,
a drum roll with my feet. So
that's pretty cool.
That was actually this past weekend. So we were playing with the guys from Disciple of the Garden. Like I said, they're from Brooklyn. I did not expect their accent to be quite that thick. It was beautiful. I think they're from maybe the Bronx. I'm sorry, the Bronx.
I love New York.
I was not ready for it when they walked up like, "Hey, I'm Joe. How you doing?" And so it was really funny. But he walked over. I was doing my sound check, and he was like, "Hey, were those doubles with your feet?" And I was like, "Yes, they were." And he was like, "That's impressive."
It is impressive.
So I took that as one of the best compliments I've ever gotten
from a guy.
From
New York. From the Bronx.
He's not going to pull your chain,
No.
I was like, well, thank you.
Man, I don't know if anybody's ever going to hear this, but I spent a lot of time in New York City, 10 years, well, not 10 years, but within a 10-year span where I worked with an organization that had me there pretty frequently. And the best people are East Coasters, man.
Oh, yeah. I am not a West Coast vibe.
Well, I shouldn't say the best people. I would say, because everything's relative, right? I'm not trying to bias any perspective here. All I'm saying is real, down-to-earth perspective, East Coast, all day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
New York? Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's some twists in the road, but for the most part, you're straight shooting. So
I was going to tell you this little anecdote. So I used to live in Spain, and when I was over there,
That's cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
How old were you when you did that?
I was 20.
Perfect.
So I went to visit a friend who lived in sort of like a neighboring state, if you will, of Spain. And it was probably a 2-hour journey from where I was to get on a bus, to get on a train, to get to her house. And when I got there, her mom, this is very common. You still live with your mom until you're married. Doesn't matter how old you are. So I meet her mom, and her mom, she's very, very Spanish, very cultural. So she invites me in. We're going to have a coffee. And tonight, you stay with me. You stay here. And I politely declined, and I said, "Oh no, I appreciate it, but I'll head home. That's okay." And she just looks right at her daughter, who's my friend, and she's like, "Why doesn't she want to stay with me? Why doesn't she want to stay?" Just very direct like that. And yeah. I was 20. I grew up very naive and very sheltered, and so I was like, "Oh no, I have offended her," and like panic, But her daughter just explains and says, oh, no, Mom, it's very common in American culture to politely offer up something that you don't actually want the other person to do. And then the other person is sort of just expected to like decline it politely. And that's just this little dance that Americans do. And she looked at me and she's like, why would you guys do that? And it was just so direct. And I remember in that moment just like realizing like, I don't ever want to do that again. I don't ever want that because it is silly. And so I appreciate there's a difference between being direct and being rude. I think a lot of times Europeans get labeled as rude because they are direct, but there is a difference.
There is.
And so if somebody says, oh, no, you stay with me tonight, they mean like, I want you to stay here. And I try to live my life by that now. Like, if I say we should go get lunch, I mean, we should go get lunch sometime. Like, I enjoy talking with you and let's spend time together, you know? If I feel like you can always find a genuine compliment for someone. It doesn't have to be a lie. Even if it's, I like your shoes. You can always say something nice and be truthful.
Right.
Without having to,
be cheesy about it.
Be cheesy and man. Don't be disingenuine.
Good for you.
Thanks.
You're, I mean, relatively speaking, much younger person than who's talking right now. It's refreshing to hear that perspective.
Thanks.
Yeah. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like sometimes I don't know how to tell people like, no, I mean this. When I give you this compliment, I mean it. Because I think we're so accustomed to just hearing, oh yeah, well,
right.
You're so, well, did the fluff, the smoke and the clout, if you will. So I try to always refrain from doing that.
Refrain. Yeah, refrain from the dark and walk toward the light.
Oh, it can get so negative in the music community. And
well, no, I suppose we all brush up against that. Mm-hmm. And lately I think about my life as being kind of like an amoeba, where I'm kind of a two-dimensional block, kind of. If this feels good, I'm going there, and I'm going to shy more away from, the dark side, or the stuff that doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And I think music is a lot of that. But the cool thing about it though is it shifts around.
Yeah.
The amoeba moves around, and you're getting pulled different places, and sometimes that's not the right direction. Like that's the ouchy part and not the good stuff.
Yeah.
So we go through our lives, and we especially in music, and we feel the good stuff. Like, oh my God, yeah, soul revival. That's good. That feels good. Why does it feel? Because it's music that makes you feel good. It's a great, happy time. And the vibe you get with the people that you're performing those songs with is part of that whole thing. It's like part of the amoeba going, yep, this feels really good.
I think people can tell too in the audience. Like, I've been in bands where I don't want to see these people I'm working with outside of this con.
We're right there. See that? Bass and drum, man. Oh yeah.
It translates everywhere. I've been in bands where I don't care to hang out with these guys on a personal level, but that's not where I'm at in my life right now. I want to be with people who I can have a conversation with.
You're in a really creative space with corrupted hearts.
You can't be killing my vibe, man.
No, and it sounds like you're definitely like really having a great time.
Oh, we are. We just, like I said, we did this collaboration lately with Dead Cell. We did Passenger by Deftones. One of my favorite songs. And then at the Woodlands Tavern show, we played Change in the House of Flies. One of the sexiest, most just, I never would have, and I even said this to the guys when they proposed it. I said, if any other band asked me to play this song, I would say it won't work. But we just gelled
pulled it off
so well. And I do, yeah, I watched the recording and I was like, okay, we did it.
I would have loved that show.
Thanks. You would have.
I know I would have loved that show.
It was really good. I gotta say, I've never been a part of something I felt like we put on that good of a show, and it just feels right.
So here's what I'll say. There have been musical moments in my past, musically, that I'll always remember. I remember the fun gigs and how many fun gigs I had with the guys that I've been able to play with, and the people that I've been able to play with. But like currently, there have been several recent gigs where musically, I will remember those. I'll remember I had those moments with those people, right?
Yeah.
Do you have those times?
Oh, yeah.
Can you share with us, like?
Well,
what were your moments, man?
I've got a couple of those. All right. So when you were talking just now, I thought about this. So again, from Mansfield, right? So I went to a high school called Ontario. It's like a suburb of Mansfield. It's kind of the Dublin of Columbus.
I've spent time in Ontario.
Yeah? Okay.
I have.
So that was the nice school, right? So I went to the nice school, but I lived in the trailer park. So I was, it was a very good balance. So that's where I started learning, percussion, and I started getting these, higher class solos and stuff like that I really just loved it, and I ran with it. But drum set was the thing that was foreign to me. So I didn't pick that up until I was 14, and I got to join jazz band. And jazz band, I only got to play the drum set when I was at school because I didn't have one. I lived in a trailer. I couldn't have one. So I would literally sit in my room and I would just go through the motions on the side of my bed. That's how I learned to play drums. I didn't have real drums to practice on, not until I was a little bit older. But so one of the songs I would practice to was Pick Up the Pieces by the Average White Band. I
love that tune.
Yeah. So Elliot Lewis was the front man for the Average White Band. I didn't know that at the time. Fast forward, I want to say, how old was I? I was right around 20. It was about the time I moved to Spain. I show up to a webisode thing we were doing, and Elliot Lewis is in the studio. And Elliot Lewis is also the keyboard player for Hall & Oates. So this was a big deal. I'd never met somebody that important. And we're filming shows at the same time. My band was right after his. But so he's like, hey, we're going to do a warm-up. Who's the drummer in the room? I need a drummer. And I was there because I was with my band and I was their drummer. So I got to get on the kit and I got to warm up with Elliot Lewis. And we played Sarah Smile, which, because he said, present company, I feel like I need to warm up to this song. And then we played Pick Up the Pieces. Oh, gosh. And I remember feeling like in that moment, like my life has come full circle.
It's funny you mention Elliot, because Beth and I, every now and then we'll on a Sunday in particular, we'll go hang out at a patio somewhere, especially if it's summertime and it's nice. And Elliot Lewis played at Flint Station a couple years ago.
I don't know if he lives in the area, but he seems to be in this area.
Yeah, he is, and he I think he may do some music work here in the area. But he did a show with himself, and that was really fun. He is really cool, and it was so iconic because his background. Like, obviously, you were able to play with us. You were able to perform with him.
Nobody was, just my bandmates were watching. It's just in the studio.
So cool, man.
It was like a personal thing,
Yeah.
I just felt like I learned on this song that you wrote, sir. I was like, oh my gosh, I was beside myself. It just felt like this has come full circle.
Sarah Nicole, that's cool. That's one of those moments you'll remember musically, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you said there were a couple.
Oh, well, I wanted to talk about how I came to know you, I guess.
You did want to talk about that?
I swear
listen, you need to understand something. I don't work for anybody. I don't represent anybody. I'm just a guy that genuinely loves Columbus local music and the bands and the people.
And I love that about you.
The people, the musicians, everybody has a story, right? And they're so freaking awesome. And that's genuine. And when I decided to get into podcasting a couple years ago, I thought, well, what am I so passionate about? This is it.
Yeah.
Right? I love the diversity and the music and the creativity of local based. Some people go way beyond local, and it's kind of now it's the fringe of what like is Columbus local podcast material, right? Like, you know, the famous people. God bless everybody. Like, that's freaking awesome. My passion's with people like myself that like have had the opportunity to weave it into their life.
Oh yeah.
To the degree that it makes sense for their well, first of all, their level of play, number one. Number two, their physical capabilities, and the time they're able to allocate toward the appropriate project that maps into their life. And I've been able to, I'm so grateful about being able to participate. That makes sense for me, but also just have so much admiration. So it's just genuine love, Sarah. Why this? There's no pay. There's no like dark, you know,
but how
conspiracy. So, you know, to meet me is like to meet someone who just loves what you do.
But isn't that what life's about? I mean, truly. I'm going to sound like a hippie.
You don't have to love the things I love, right?
No, but that's what it's about. I mean, we're here to have this human experience on Earth, right? Like, what's the point if you're not enjoying it?
I agree with you. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't love it.
Yeah.
And at the end, I wouldn't be pulled back into actually performing live again, which to me is a horrifying thought. But I love what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I love learning something new and actually finding something that's like really fitting into my situation and my life. And so music really, you know, aside from being a studio person, you know, playing live is really something special.
Yeah.
Really special. And you're doing it.
Yeah. Well, so are you.
I know. So when you do it, what is it that you're thinking about? Are you thinking about the mechanics, or are you thinking about just the feel?
Oh, it's 100% feel, and that's why I don't drink.
That's where I'm at too, man. I mean, seriously, music is all feel for me. 100%.
I'll look down because it's not that I.
That's why I probably enjoy playing with you, because we're both feel players.
Yeah, well,
and that's
where
the dance. But that's the dance of the bass and the drums, man. That's why I love it. I love that stuff.
Oh, me too. I can't play drunk though, and people will say like, "Do you have Do you have a problem with drinking?" I'm like, "No, I don't have a drinking problem."
But not when I play.
But I'll look at my hands as if they are not a part of me anymore, and that's a problem when you're a drummer. It's like, it's muscle memory, and if you cloud my muscle memory, it's like I look at these sticks and I'm like, "You've betrayed me. What are you doing, guys?"
Yeah.
So I can't play and drink at the same time, and it's just once in a while. Now I'll say 1 out of 10 times, I would like my birthday one year. It was, I think, my 21st birthday.
Taking that one birthday shot.
Well,
just the one.
I had a few birthday shots. It was my 21st birthday, so I made the exception, you know. And I got up. It was a bar that I was very familiar with. It was just a big jam session, you know. And it's my birthday, so the whole bar knew me. And so I got up. Oh yeah.
About your drop.
Oh, I was gone, and I got up on the stage, and everybody's like, "Do a drum solo, you know, birthday girl's got to do a drum solo," and I played the best drum solo I've ever played in my whole life. And I remember looking at my hands and just being like, "Yeah, you go, guys," because I felt like I had no control over them at all. They were not a part of me. And I got off the stage and have a good drummer friend. He's way better than me, like far better than me. And he was like, "Man, that's the best you've ever played. That was amazing." And I'm like, "Too bad I cannot replicate it."
So let me ask you something. Are you familiar with the term satori?
No.
So we'll talk about it later. But kind of Reader's Digest version. It might be of Hindu origin. Don't quote me on that. It's a state of mind. It's a channeling state. And so certain players, I'm able to get there sometimes, but it's when you're familiar. It's like in like my relationship with Beth. We're very, very close. We can almost kind of feel each other. We know when something's like great and when something's not. Mm-hmm. And Satori's a channeling of something outside of yourself, And so, what you described, like you wouldn't be able to replicate it. To me, that's kind of tapping into that.
Maybe.
Is that real? I guess that's my question. So do you get that deep with your music, or are you somewhere that you can describe?
When I will say this last show that we just did at Woodlands, that was what it was for me, because we played Pardon Me by Incubus. Like I said, we played Change in the House of Flies by the Deftones. We played What I've Done by Linkin Park, Zero by the Smashing Pumpkins. Some of these songs,
I would have loved that show, man.
It was great. And we played The Red by Chevelle. Some of these songs are my absolute favorite places or favorite songs, and so it takes you to that place. And I remember I was having monitor issues at the last show. I lost my phone, which is my control pad for my monitor. It's also all the notes that I had and my set list. So I walked up on that stage blind. I had nothing. I knew what we were going to play because I knew the set-ish.
So you had to tap in.
And at first I was very nervous. I was in it, and I started to overthink things, and then I was like, okay.
Yeah, you got this.
You got to calm down, because we played Everlong, too. We played Everlong.
Oh, my gosh.
And
that's one of my favorite songs.
I sing harmony while I play Everlong. So I was like, I have to be in a zone, because I don't know any other drummers that can sing harmony and play Everlong at the same time. And it takes every bit of my CPU to make that happen. So
yeah, I can.
Thankfully, it wasn't right in the beginning, but once I kind of shook off the nerves of not knowing, I was like, it's fine. I know it's going to be okay. The monitors aren't exactly how I would prefer them, but we're going to make it through. And I feel like I got to that place. I was like, I just have to lean into the music and let it calm me,
Yeah, so you depended on the vibe to kind of channel you into but you couldn't replicate it.
Oh, well, I wasn't drunk that time. That was...
I'm sorry.
I was stone sober.
But that you don't have to eat. Satori is just it's a state. You don't have to. You don't need. You just. It's a natural state.
Yeah.
I think you're maybe. I don't know. Maybe sensing. Maybe you might have maybe part of that. But what is it that you think it? For you, is it where are you when you're performing a tune? It may be a cover song, like Everlong, for example. Are you thinking about how the original band did it, or are you just kind of channeling the
for
vibe?
Everlong?
What are you doing?
Okay, so Everlong, and then we did Cherub Rock. We didn't do it this last time, but Cherub Rock and Everlong are two songs that you can't change.
Sig.
You have to play them
so
how they are.
So you're thinking about the song.
But no, it's like muscle memory.
Yeah.
I don't think about it because I know that song so well. It's almost like it just happens.
I love that song. It is a work of art.
Oh yeah, truly. And then I love how fast the fills are in that. It's like a workout. I used to warm up to it all the time.
I used to. I wish I would have covered it more as a guitar player, because I love to play that song because it dropped D and all. It's a cool tune, and the drummers are always shying away from it because it's so. But I'm like, why don't you just make it your own? Do you make it your own when you cover a tune, Sarah, or do you? I kind of get a sense you kind of do, especially with the Ringo song we talked about earlier. It
depends.
Because that's definitely your own, and I love it.
I liked, the internet is a dark place though, man. So I do these drum covers and my channel's full of them. And sometimes if I don't play something just the way that it was written, then people will just assume that I can't. And I've talked about this with Gabrielle, actually, because Turn the Page. You guys, you do Turn the Page.
Yeah, I play that song very different than I did the first time.
But every recording of that song that you look up, you're going to find live recordings, you're going to find studio recordings, and they do it different every time.
Yep.
And so, but I got to say, and I don't play this card often.
The bones are right, though.
Being a girl, sometimes people will assume, oh, She just didn't know what she was doing. She just didn't know how the song goes. And I'm like, no, I made an artistic judgment. Right. You know, I said, this is what I'm going to do.
So are your cats you're performing with that night, if you haven't performed with them, are they hip enough, or is your bass player hip enough to map to the drummer?
Oh, yeah.
And fall in line? It
depends.
Or does the bass player, the one that sticks to his version that he heard, and do something? It's to me, the tempo and the beat is the drummer.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I call the shots.
bass player has to adapt. And then the bass player can reference the guitar player. But to be honest with you, I don't give a shit what the guitar player's doing. I don't care. Or the melody. I'm not following melody. I key off who's on my left and who's singing.
Well, like I told you back in the day, playing with Travis, he's got fast fingers, man. Oh. So he loved to do like, you know, and that's where the double bass came from. Because like Heartbreaker,
he's keeping up with you.
For example, Heartbreaker, the end of Heartbreaker by Pat Benatar, it's got an opportunity that you can throw those 16th note bass runs in there, but it's pretty fast. So is Theory of a Dead Man, Bad Girlfriend. I have a recording of that online, because that was my goal, because I used to see other drummers do it, and Travis would love it. I could see his face light up when they would do it, because he would mirror how fast they were going, and I was like, someday I'm gonna be able to do that. And that's so it's all
doing it.
I'm doing it, but you look at each other and you're kind of like, hey, watch this, you know, or hey, follow me. It's the vibe.
Do you kind of, and I think over time, if you perform with people over a long period of time, all of that really takes on its own kind of.
Oh yeah, well we were
morphation, if you will. That's a word, right? Morphation. You kind of morphs into its own little.
Oh yeah, there was a time. So I sing while I play drums, and I was doing "What's Up" by the 4 Non Blondes, and in the middle of it, the guitarist turns around and he smiles at me, and he starts playing like a reggae beat, like instead of straight eighths, he's like, and I'm trying to sing and play drums and follow it, and I was like, dude, what are you doing to me? Quit it. But it's fun, and that's what the audience wants. Even if you mess up, I think the audience would prefer that you take those risks and do fun things.
Yeah, improvisation, depending on the setting, though, right?
Yeah.
If you're performing at a casino, that's gonna be one thing.
But I don't perform at casinos.
No,
for that reason.
I don't either. and that's not my thing. My thing's
it's not my vibe.
My thing is 300 people at a patio.
Oh yeah.
Digging what you're doing.
Street festival.
Dancing.
Oh, yeah.
Having a good time.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be doing.
I'm playing a street festival this weekend.
And I don't want to be the star of the show, because I'm not the star of the show.
That's why I play drums.
I have a supportive role, just like you do.
I hang out in the back behind my security blanket.
Right on.
I don't.
But just know your shit. Know your part, and do the best you can do, man, and make it real, make it fun.
Oh yeah.
Create the groove.
Yeah.
Because that is all that matters underneath the talent that all the eyes are on. That's the formula, man.
Yeah.
I love that, though. I like living there at this point in my life.
That's like I said, what is the point of life if you're not doing that?
That's what I was going to ask you. See, you're ahead of me every time. That's scary, man.
We should play music together. Who knows?
Every once in a while, maybe. If only we had a project that people could come out and say, "Oh yeah."
It's starting to sound like a
the waning, rookie bass player with the career drummer.
I am far from that.
We haven't really talked about your story. What inspired you to get started in music?
Well, like I said, I played in school.
Yeah. I mean, we heard little bits and pieces, but I want to know chronological kind of, and think maybe about some of the bands that you were in too that people might recognize.
Yeah. Okay. So, when I was a teenager, I was kind of on my own early. So, about 16, I was actually working Denny's third shift, and I was working at a Mexican restaurant second shift while I was still in high school. So I didn't have a lot of time, but I didn't really have a lot of supervision either. And so when I did have a night off, I met this guy, came into Denny's, and he was saying there's these local jams you can go to, and you can just play with other people. And I was like, oh man, I'd love that.
That'd be fun.
So I went to one.
And how old were you?
I was 16, and I snuck out to this bar. They didn't know I was 16. And that's where I met the Getaway Band, who I would later play with.
This is in Columbus?
That was in Mansfield.
No, sorry.
It's okay. That's where I grew up. I was still in school at the time. And so I started playing more often. And this, the Frank Medley, he's the guitarist. And if you're from Mansfield, you know him.
Oh, he is.
Oh, yeah.
So that's cool.
And so he was like, I don't know who you are, but we're about to exchange numbers and I'm about to find out. And because then he goes, can you sing while you play drums? And I said, I think so.
You do sing too, don't you?
And I had never done it before, but I just did it in front of those people. And it was like,
you're in.
I can't walk and chew bubble gum, but I don't know how I did that. And he said, okay, well, I'm hiring you when you're of age.
When you're of age.
So I finished school.
So you met him. I'm sorry, you were how old?
I was 16.
And so 2-3 years later?
Yeah. So when I was 18, there was a drummer change, and he's like, are you free? And I said, yeah. And so I started playing with him.
No way. So boom, all of a sudden you're working with the top guitar player in the Mansfield area?
Everybody knows him. Everybody. I mean, yeah. I don't know if you've heard of the Red Ball Jets. They're one of the bigger bands out of Mansfield. I mean, they know Frank. Everybody knows Frank. Dave Sturtsinger, who sings for the Red Ball Jets now, he was Frank's drummer before me.
That's cool. He saw your spark, though. He did. He saw it. He
flattering.
Heard you, right?
Well, I mean, it doesn't hurt that I'm a girl drummer who sings. And I was younger, and I used to wear a much lower cut shirt and, doing a little bouncing around while you're playing the drums.
Playing drums.
We got a following for one reason or another. I'm not saying I'm that talented, but
you are
I have
that
a decent
talented,
rack.
number
That's what
one.
it is. It's my rack. That's what got me here.
No, it's your right foot, and it's your sense of percussion, man. It's freaking off the chart. It's awesome.
So that's about when I moved to Spain. So I did it. Say I had to quit, and I moved to Spain.
So you stopped doing music
with the Getaway Band.
And what took you to Spain?
So.
Or is that too personal?
No, it's okay.
We're not going to go there.
It's okay.
You don't have to go there.
So once upon a time,
it was non-music related.
It was non-music related, but it's okay.
We can move on.
I had a full ride to OSU.
Oh, good for you. Related to what? Are we allowed to talk about that?
I got pretty much a perfect score on my ACT. And then
so you are an extremely intelligent human being.
Don't tell anyone. I try to play dumb a lot. So,
you're a drummer.
But like I said, my parents had... I was on my own at 16. So my entrance exam to OSU, they said, tell me what perseverance means to you. And I was like, let me tell you what I just did. I just graduated with honors while I'm working 2 jobs and volunteering. And nobody was making me do this. I graduated with honors at the top of my class. And so they actually called my school, and they said, we want you. And my dream was to be in the TB, DB, ITL. Like I wanted the whole thing.
So what is that for those that...
The best damn band in the land. My dream was to move to Columbus and be a Buckeye. I wanted to march on that field, have the college dorm experience. I wanted that whole thing. Turns out, in the state of Ohio, you have to have your parents' permission to go to college, even if you have a scholarship. And my parents and I were not speaking at the time. So I lost that scholarship. I wasn't able to go. And so I don't know if you want to call it my rebellion or I was like, hey,
your spirit.
I learned how to speak another language. I've been teaching in a Spanish immersion school at that point for 2 years as my volunteer gig. And so I moved to Spain because I was like, college over there is only, $5,000 a year. And I'm going to go to college one way or another, and I'll go there if I have to.
And you spoke Spanish?
Mm-hmm, I do.
And that's formal Spanish.
Yeah,
that's
I speak
not like
con la zeta. Like I have an accent that is Castilian Spanish. Yeah.
Castilian.
Castellano.
My big thing is usted habla y nunca dice nada.
Talks and doesn't say anything.
But it doesn't pertain to you.
Yeah.
But that's my thing. I'll spit that out to somebody, and then they're like, "Oh, damn, he knows what he's." I shout out to She's now gone. La Senora Lenfest of Westerville South High School.
Yeah? Was that your Spanish teacher?
Instilled quite the Espanol in me. However, her compadre as well. Another shout out to Mrs. Vetter, who was a compadre of La Senora Lenfest. La Senora Vetter resides in Westerville, Ohio. Shout out to her as well. So, habla español.
I do, yeah. Habla español, yeah. I just did the Spain thing.
Sorry about the shout outs. I couldn't help myself.
Shout out to my Spanish teachers too. Senora Matthews and Senora Martin. They saw a spark. They said this girl really likes Spanish, and they would give me extra things to work on so that I could learn faster.
You mentioned a couple of things like very kind of nonchalant just a moment ago about, like kind of acing the ACT or the SAT and this, that, and the other and getting a full ride. It's extraordinary.
Thanks.
Who was around to see those sparks?
Actually, my band directors accompanied me to my honors night.
Okay.
I had a male and a female director.
Very cool.
And they actually, I'm still really good friends with the female band director. Shout out to her. She's here. Yay. She actually moved. She lives in Reynoldsburg. And as luck would have it, we just,
nearby?
Connect. Yeah. And now she's one of my best friends.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Yeah. So, let's see. After Spain, I moved back.
So Spain, did you go 4 years to
I
school?
did not.
What did you do there? Well, and I'm not trying to pry.
No, it's okay.
Was it music? Were you involved in music in Spain?
I did get to play a little bit of music in Spain.
What was that like?
It was great because I'm American and I know all the American songs in English. And they were like, "Oh my God, you have an American accent." I'm like, "Well, I should because I'm American." And they were like, "That's amazing. Will you sing?" Like, sang "Sweet Child of Mine." And they were like, "Oh my God, I've never heard," because they just don't. Sometimes they'll say kind of, have you ever seen one of those shirts that's, it's from China because the words don't make any sense on it? It's like that. Sometimes they're singing and they don't know what they're saying, and so they just kind of say gibberish. And if you don't speak English, you wouldn't catch it because it just sounds like that to them, which in all is totally fair. Like, that's not a slam on them.
No.
When I sing in German, I have no idea what I'm saying either. But
same thing.
If it's a good song, I'm going to sing along and I'm just going to make sounds. I don't know. But so a lot of them do that and they're covering. I remember I went to a street festival. They were doing Bon Jovi, "It's My Life." And when they said it, the only words I understood were, "It's my life." And the rest of it was just, "It's and I was like, they're not saying anything. They have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
So they loved that I spoke English. And they were like, once I met a friend who kind of was connected with the music scene, he was like, "You got to come with me to this club." And then they were like, "We love you because you speak English." So the bar wasn't set very high.
No.
But as it turns out, you got to have visas and stuff to go to college. And I didn't plan any of that out. So it was a little hasty that I just moved to Europe without much of it. I was an au pair, so I was living with a Spanish family and taking care of their daughter.
That's cool.
And they wanted an American nanny to teach her American English, which is far more.
And you did that?
Yeah, it's actually, they love American. Like when I was giving English lessons over there, I could charge more because I'm American.
Wow.
Because they have England right there, but they don't want that. They're used to that. That is rubbish to them, literally. They want to hear garbage.
They want like, Mansfield, Ohio English.
Yeah, I was like,
it's straight up.
Wait, you want to pay me extra for being trailer trash? I love that. Okay.
No, I'm not saying that.
It's okay. I'm just kidding. So
it's America, man.
They love my accent.
Mansfield is America.
They were like, "I thought this was rubbish," or they call semi trucks lorries, and I was like, "No, that's a semi truck," and they're, "Oh, semi truck. That's really cool." They thought I was cool just because I'm American. It's the easiest way to be cool ever, apparently. Not so much anymore, from what I understand, but
it's all good.
So I ended up having to come back because I couldn't stay in Spain for forever without a visa. But I did start music back up, and then I started an open mic in Lexington, Ohio, which is sort of the Grandview of Mansfield. It's this little suburb, hoity-toity, really fancy place. So they have a wine bar, and I started an open mic there. And as luck would have it, one of the local agents had this group that he was working with called the Lucky Penny Sisters. And he brought them to my open mic to try. I'm sure they were trying to get gigs in the area, you know, and they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I remember being blown away and just like starstruck. I was like, wow.
They have sparks too.
They're amazing.
They are amazing.
I was like, I'm not worthy.
I saw them last week.
I know. So I met Katie and Leslie.
That's so awesome.
Like 15 years ago, way back when. So, I mean, there's some stuff in the middle, but fast forward, that's how I met everyone that I've met. I on a whim, I reached out to Katie and I was like, hey, this is probably really weird. You probably don't remember me from 15 years ago. And I probably sound like the strangest person ever, but I live in the area now and wondering if you wanted to grab coffee sometime because you're a musician and I'm a musician.
Very cool.
And then she said, actually, I can't this week, but there's this women's meeting you should go to. And it turned out to be the Women of Rock, the Central Ohio Women of Rock meetup.
No way.
I met Gabrielle.
So when was this? Was this like a year ago?
That was last year.
Early 2024.
Yeah, early 2024. I walked into 1832 Social, or 1532 Social, sorry. And I sat at a table by myself actually because I'm really shy. And Leslie, I walked over and I said hi to her, but she's so different now than she was 15 years ago. And I didn't even really know it was her, but I was like, is your name Leslie? And she's like, yeah. And then she's like, oh yeah, I remember you. And I'm like, I don't know if you really do, but that's okay because I'm kind of in the background a lot and that's fine. But she said, oh no, don't sit over there. Sit with us and meet my friend Gabrielle. And then I got to hear Gabrielle sing and, you know, that just blew me away. And I want to say the rest is history because after that, you know, Gabrielle introduced me to Kelly Rush and Nikki Reber and Bethany
people.
Hodges.
All of them.
Yeah, and Julie Neal and Megabeth, who starts talking about some guy, Len, you know, who I've never heard of. And
nobody knows.
But I knew your name quickly. They were like, Len D'Amico. I was like, I have to meet. And actually, at first, she was talking about, if she hadn't said Len, I thought it was Linda. Like, there was a person named Linda Miko.
Linda Miko.
Yeah, is your alter ego.
I get that a lot.
Must be your alter ego. But I figured it out.
No, it's not. Though.
No worries. We figured it out, and it's all good now. But yeah, that, you know, and there's some stuff in between, of course. Before I left Mansfield, I played in a country band.
What was the name of that band?
Mark King and the Roadhouse Band.
Mark King.
Yeah, Mark King still lives in Mansfield. I don't know that he's playing much now, but he's got a really good country voice. And his brother, David King, he's a DJ and also a fantastic guitarist, vocalist. There's so much talent out there.
Country music has a different feel, does it not?
And that's why I say it's so funny you think I'm a metal drummer, because my background is jazz and country.
But you don't strike me as a country drummer.
Well, because but I liked rock. And so, but in school they train you to play Dixieland and jazz. And so that comes easily to me. But people overlook country. It's so hard. It's really the closer to jazz music. There's a lot of nuances. There are a lot of like the shuffle beats and stuff that they're more difficult than straight ahead rock. But I really like my double bass pedal, and I really wanted to play rock. And so now that I'm here in Columbus, I tend to play that more because it's what I like.
Yep.
But I have that background in country. I was
so
singing
cool.
Redneck Woman and Before He Cheats by Carrie Underwood, Any Man of Mine by Shania Twain. I need to
introduce you to Waylon Jennings and Johnny Cash.
I know all about them.
To me, that's country.
Oh, we did, yeah. I hear that train coming.
And there's a vein of country called Red Dirt that you gotta check out.
I mean, I'm telling you, that's what I grew up on. So
Red Dirt?
Like, are we talking like Red Dirt Road, like Brooks and Dunn style stuff?
No, I'm talking about Red Dirt country. The stuff that rambled through like Greenhall in New Brunswick, Texas.
Like who?
That shit. That Delbert McClinton.
No.
ZZ Top.
Okay, ZZ Top.
I mean, there's some current artists in that area.
Yeah.
That'll blow your mind.
I really am into Tyler Childers, and I like Brantley Gilbert a lot. We played some of that in
it's
the country
Americana.
band. Yeah.
It's just there's a local guy who went to high school with my son, went to grade school through high school with my son. That's in the Red Dirt. I'll have to send it to you because the music's so, it's American. It's red dirt country. It's like below the Sun Belt kind of deal.
So when I moved to Columbus, the very first group that I got involved with, shout out to Matt Sullivan.
There you go.
Because I met him when I moved to Columbus. I moved here for my job. And so I was kind of immersed in my job at first. And I didn't really come out of my house unless it was going to work because it was a learning curve. And then I got on Craigslist because I was like, how do you meet people? I don't know. Craigslist seems safe. Let's do that. So I got on Craigslist and I looked under the musicians and I found this guy looking for a drummer for an Americana kind of folk project. Turned out Matt Sullivan, fantastic human being. I don't know if you know him. He's great. Black River Gypsies was the name of his band. Since then, he's kind of transitioned into Matt Sullivan and Friends. I will be one of those friends this summer, I think August 22nd. I'm playing with him at Nocterra, I think.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Because he had just recorded an album with his band, and then his drummer had to move to Chicago or something like that. So I stepped in and helped promote the live shows that go with the album. And I just love, he's very, it's very like Roadhouse, but like soulful America. He's telling a story with an acoustic guitar.
Ooh. And
then his voice just fits it so well. I love it. I eat it up. And so it was a very natural fit to play that music because I just come from a country band, you know. But he's continues to do his shows. Fantastic guy. And it just, at the time, we didn't have everybody on the same page as far as who could come to practices, and so it just sort of fizzled out. And then that's why now he's just like, I'm gonna do my thing, and when they can come, they can come. So
right.
So, but it's great music, and that's more my wheelhouse. And who else? I ended up meeting Vodka Rocks, ROXX. I don't know if you heard of them. That's the Columbus band that I met for rock.
Oh yeah. So do you remember what year? That was a band that was started and had a real good strong run.
Yeah.
You know, couple strong guitar players and drummers.
Azelle was playing guitar for that.
Okay, so yeah. He's a beautiful human. I'd love to do a podcast episode with Azelle, and I'm going to try to do that.
I've got his number.
Please help me with that. And then,
so
he
Chris
knows my name.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Who doesn't know your name in town? I didn't know because I'm not from here, but now I'm from here and I know you.
I'm not anybody that anybody would really know. But Azelle, I've jammed with Azelle a couple times.
Well, so Chris is on bass, and then Eric Chin was the lead singer of that one. Eric Chin does his own acoustic stuff now too.
Yep.
And I think he was Plain City Dads. He was one of the Plain City Dads.
Oh, cool.
But so that project, didn't really work out. But then some of us transitioned into a new project. They're still playing, I think, as Through the Red. But the pandemic came.
Yep.
And I mean, everything just stopped. You know how that goes.
It kind of did. I gigged a lot during COVID, and I got COVID 4 times as a result.
My gosh.
Dumbass that I am.
What?
I mean, I took precaution.
Yeah, I mean.
But the real precaution is, stay home.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. I have to move.
That's when I started up doing the drum covers. That's why.
I'll never own a recliner. Ever. I'll never.
Why?
I keep moving. I have to move or I'll die.
That is true. I can confirm that.
And if I'm down,
many sources.
I'm really down.
Yeah.
And I have been sick in my life, pretty sick. But anyway, sorry for bouncing around.
No, it's okay.
It's part of the dance.
Post-pandemic, I met Boombox Riot.
There you go.
And that was my favorite project. Recently that I had been involved with. Summit she's a star. I heard she's moving to Chicago.
Really? For music or for
I think for music. Good. I think they're trying to, get into the bigger scene, which if anybody can do it, she can do it.
Is Chicago, does Chicago are they big?
I guess. I mean, there's all those jazz clubs and stuff, you know.
There's great.
I don't know what kind of genres are there. I go to Chicago fairly often. I love Chicago.
I do too. Beth has a daughter in Chicago.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I love Chicago.
It's awesome. I love Chicago. I haven't been there in a while myself, but I think we will be going to Chicago a lot in the near future. Just saying.
I don't need an excuse to go to Chicago. I love that place.
I don't need an excuse to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, why not? I mean, airfare, so it's cool. It's good stuff.
So Summit ended up getting me in touch with the Catco at the time, but now it's the Contemporary Theater. They needed a drummer for an all-female production they were putting together. And I have background in, you know, that more classical setting.
That's right.
So I said, yeah, I'd do it. And it was great. I met theater folks, and it was great. I ended up doing another theater show just this past year, Mamma Mia. I played with Buckeye Valley High School, and Q Jones was on piano for that.
Buckeye Valley. So, yeah, my nephew is a Buckeye Valley grad.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm familiar. I went to football seasons, couple of those games. Yeah. But yeah, Buckeye Valley. So that is a music program then that you got engaged with.
Yeah.
And seeing and that was when you met Q Jones.
No, Q had hired me for the Mamma Mia that I did with the Contemporary. So he was the musical director for that. So Summit gave him my name, but then he was the musical director. That's how I met him. And then, I mean, he's just so amazing. I felt like I don't deserve to be here, you know? Like I don't know. I felt like pinch me, because I'm surrounded by Agiella, played piano, and she gives instructions. She's a Capital graduate. She went to conservatory. I was playing with a female bass player as well. It was just, I felt like I wasn't worthy. Felt very, very nervous, like I was the green
You're
one.
there for a reason.
You know,
you're there for a reason.
It's whew.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, I worry that reason's because they couldn't find somebody else.
No. You have skills.
Well, I appreciate that, but and the last name drop would be the Wet Bandits, which were, I mean,
90s.
Huge. Oh my gosh.
Alternative.
I love.
Right in your wheelhouse of material, right?
Yeah. Well, we played all of it.
The Wed, Sprocket.
Well, we played, I mean, but all the hits. So we played even like Vanilla Ice. We played Ice Ice Baby. And we do like Hit Me Baby One More Time. Yes. And the Wet Bandits, in my opinion, there's no 90s band that does what they do. They're great.
Yeah. Even some Petty.
Oh yeah, we did Tom Petty. Yeah, the 90s are my thing for sure.
They're one of my favorite bands around.
Wet Bandits?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
90s. You have fun. It's the same as Solar Valley. You're gonna have fun.
They have a website. They have. No, I'm just kidding. They do. They have They had a podcast for a while. I followed for a bit.
Yeah, they did. That was before me.
But I don't think it's active though.
I don't think so. They're too busy, man. They gig constantly now.
Yeah, and you jumped on that bandwagon for a little while. You had a good run with them. Right?
I did. Yeah, it was a fun summer, but I realized it was just their schedule's a little busier than what I could handle. I'm a mom, and I was in school.
You have to weave it into your life.
Yeah, you got to find the right fit.
All that.
Yeah.
I know. Good for you though. Prioritization, and then you told us how you came into this recent creative fold with Corrupted Hearts.
Yeah.
And man, good stuff. I've seen the videos, but I can't wait to see you guys live. It'll be fun.
I really think you should. I mean,
how many gigs do you have in 2025?
Right now, like hardly any. Like I said, we have one show up in Mansfield actually, because a band from up there saw what I was working. He's like, I see your new project and you need to bring that to town and show it off, you know.
Awesome.
So I can't wait to do that, show my hometown, you know, what I've been working on down here. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. But the Women of Rock, we've been really busy with the benefit, and of course I'm sure you've talked about it on your show, but we're doing a benefit for Choices Domestic Violence Shelter. So every penny is going to go to them. And it's just amazing to see this women coming together and saying, hey, let's use this influence that we have as musicians to put on this giant rock show that's going to blow people away. And let's give all the money to a charity. And what a worthy charity. And August 9th, Woodlands Backyard. I played at Woodlands Tavern the 17th. Woodlands Backyard comes on August 9th.
Backyard, what a great venue too, right? This year?
I haven't played there yet, but I'm very excited.
Last year, Lazy Chameleon was awesome, and a tip of the hat to Jerome France.
I was just going to say, right? Yeah, Jerome.
What an awesome human. This year, I think a little bit bigger place, right? A little more... I shouldn't say more. I'm just saying it's a different venue.
Well, I think the
from
capacity
the last time.
is bigger, and have to because it grew so fast.
It's huge.
But shout out to Josh at Woodlands. They've been fantastic with working. We've gone in there multiple times to kind of map out what we're going to do, and there'll be a video presentation happening, and he gave me all the specs for his, how to get it all on the TVs and stuff, and. So shout out to them. They've been so great to work with.
Absolutely.
And I've gotten to work with Beth a lot, with putting this benefit together.
Beth Newsom, crowning with.
Yeah.
Yep.
Megabeth.
Awesome lady.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
Megabeth is so fitting for her.
And here you are doing this episode in a Megabeth t-shirt.
Yes, I am.
Remind me to get a photo before you leave.
Oh, yeah.
Right, this shot.
Yeah.
And I would do it, but that's where we're recording the podcast episode, so
yeah.
I don't want to multitask and screw up a recording.
That's okay.
We're good. It's good stuff. And here we are. So we're...
Put on your reading glasses.
We're an hour and a half in. You were worried you didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
An hour and a half.
I'll shut up anytime. You want me to shut up?
You want to leave us with a road story?
With a road story.
You got a tooth story. You got something funny that happened at a gig that you want to, that's interesting. Like you can't make this shit up type of. Of song.
The first one that
not song, but story.
Here, I have two little tidbits for you. Okay. So I was thinking on my way in here, I was like, do I have any wisdom to drop if anybody makes it this far in the podcast? And I thought, I think the thing that I've learned the most through all of this is don't take criticism from someone you wouldn't have asked advice from. Because there's so many people that have an opinion, and it's like, they tell you to consider the source. But somebody told me that once. He said, would you go to that person for advice? And I said, absolutely not. Then why do you care what they think? And I was like, oh my gosh. That's my wisdom for you. That's what I've got.
That's a good talk.
Always be direct.
It's good talk.
And
it's easier said than done, though.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. It's so.
But it's good advice.
It's so hard to block out. The negative voices are so much louder than the positive ones around. You get a compliment, you shrug it off. But if somebody says you're a little flat, that sticks with you. That's hard.
Ouchie.
Yeah.
But there you go. I love that you sing.
Well, thanks.
And I love that you're a musician and you're multifaceted.
Well, thanks. My favorite road story for you, off the top of my head, was playing this show in Mount Vernon, Ohio, and I don't remember the name of the van.
Was it the Bad Apple Pub, perhaps?
It wasn't Bad Apple.
It's a fun gig.
It was an outdoor one, and I remember I can see it, but I can't think of the name of it. And it was packed that night. It was just packed. There was something else going on. We weren't that cool, but something was going on. It was just packed. And this man came out of nowhere, and he grabbed the tambourine, and I think he was like part chimpanzee. Like we called him the missing link. We referred to him as, because we all looked at each other like, what is happening right now? Right. This man grabs this tambourine, and he just starts like violently shaking it, just like hitting the ground with it like those monkeys, like whoo, 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 they're just like jumping around, and they're just
Satori.
It had nothing to do with what was going on around him. This man was in his own world. I think it's just drugs. You could call it Satori, but it's just drugs. Drugs are bad.
Sorry. No, stay away. Seriously.
I remember we all looked at each other, and we ended up like kind of missing the song. And now we played all the time. It was muscle memory completely. We played out every weekend, Friday and Saturday, at least, if not more. So these songs were dialed in so tight you didn't have to think about them. But this man caught us all off guard so hard that we all kind of like fumbled on the rest of the song, like, what is happening? Oh, the missing link. He lives in Mount Vernon, Ohio.
Crazy. Is he still there?
I don't know. I I shudder to think what drugs have done to him by now. There are a lot of drugs.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah. It's Mount Vernon. There's a drug or two around there.
What are your goals? What's the future path for Sarah Nicole in music?
In music, I mean, it's wherever the vibe goes. I did book a solo acoustic show in Portsmouth, Ohio, and that'll be in August. The guy was like, "Hey, we don't have a lot of female representation down here. Well, would you want to come down?" And there's this part of me that's like, maybe I'm not good enough by myself, to do that. And so it's been a roadblock, a mental roadblock, that I didn't want to book any shows just me. And so that's going to be a nice challenge for me. And I think on the other side of it, I'm going to see how I feel. I've been doing a lot of sub shows. I play with 3 Ton Toad.
That's such a great
band, Phil Zitko, man. Shout out to him.
Are you freaking kidding me, man?
He's a great drummer, but he's the busiest guy in town.
That's a heavy band.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, like, so solid.
Is it original?
No, they do all party hits. Like, it's like the best party band.
Those guys are really. I love that band.
It's intimidating too. Same thing.
They used to rehearse. I think they rehearsed at Ross Davis Studios in Pataskala.
Really?
Like 20 years ago.
I don't know.
I remember listening to them.
They're solid. So they play all the time.
Maybe that wasn't them, but sorry.
It's okay.
You play with those guys?
Yeah. So since I did, like I said, when I was in Mansfield, 6 nights a week we were out there playing, and it was a jam band. People would come up on stage. They would play with us. And they just kind of look at me and be like, "Hey, do you know Alice in Chains? We're going to do Steppenwolf. We're going to do Parliament." Like, it could be literally anything. And so I got really good at sort of improvising and figuring it out as I go. And so now that, how many years that was like 15 years ago that I started doing that. I don't want to age myself. But I've been doing that now for 15 years, where I sort of just listen to the song and figure it out as I go, or I watch people's body language to kind of figure out what's going to happen. And obviously I study beforehand too, but I can't memorize 40 songs in a week sometimes for these sub shows. So I just get the gist of them, and I learn the breaks, and I learn the important parts, and then the rest of it I just feel and try to make sure I'm in the right spot.
Yep.
But that's how I met you with Soul Revival. I mean, I met you through Beth, but then when we played together.
Yeah, and I think we had a couple songs before that full gig where we went to Roops in Delaware for an open jam with Katie.
Yeah.
She does an open mic at Roops in Delaware, Ohio. Do you live in Delaware? Or
I live near Dublin.
Near Dublin, okay. So it's pretty easy joint over there. And it's pretty easy where we are here too in Columbus. It's not too long of a trek.
Yeah,
like 40 minutes.
It's not bad. I love going to Katie's open mics. It's just, like I said, everything's full circle. I met Katie when she came to my open mic, and now she runs an open mic, and I go to hers.
It's so fun though to find little hubs and connections.
Yeah.
It really is. There's so much out there too.
Well, and I know I said it, but the Women of Rock, I can't say it enough, that just the power in the room and the camaraderie of everybody.
The level of support.
Yes.
It's all about.
It's hard being a girl.
Nikki's original vision was support your sister.
Yeah, well, that's what it should be.
It's all like, all that.
That's all we have.
It's awesome to see that.
I'm a hippie. Like, all we have is love, and we need more of it.
And everyone involved is so awesome.
Yeah. Well, and if somebody's not your cup of tea, that's fine. You can still love them at their level.
Right.
You can still meet them where they're at.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's an incredible organization and with purpose.
Yeah.
It's really, really, really cool.
We're going to literally take this small, it started off as just hey, we should support each other. We're going to take that and we're going to build it into $50,000 donated to this fantastic charity. So
excellent.
It's amazing to be a part of that. I'm just so glad to be a part of it.
Well, congratulations too. You all are doing just phenomenal work.
Thanks.
Yep. Yeah, and it's awesome.
You tired of me now?
Hell no. No. No, when are we performing together? Was that like in the summer somewhere?
I have a couple of them. Hold on, I have my calendar right here. Were you to put it in the notes
fun.
or something?
That'll be fun. And you're going to get new songs. See, I think Gabrielle has it all, the whole year all mapped out.
July 12th and August 1st, I believe I'm playing with you
So
guys.
that's right in between my birthday. So I'll be party boy that whole month of July because it's my birthday month, so to speak.
Good thing you sit to play.
And then I'll be
down.
still partying in August, off hours. I am very serious during the day, but I do have fun. I love music.
You should.
I love performing music. It's a blast.
You should have fun. That's what it's about.
Episode 113. That was fun.
Thanks so much for having me.
Sir Nicole of Corrupted Hearts. Man, it's going to be good listening with all the music you're going to be producing in the future. Thanks so much for doing what you do, and thanks for listening, everyone. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye.